Okay, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for coming. Today we are going to be going over our grants with STEM education, going over STEM technology. We have our session presenters today, Liz and Tracy from the Governor's Office of Science and Education. We are going to go ahead and give them over the floor. Here in just a few seconds. I do want to point out that this is our last session today. We will be included in there the attendance tracker form for you to fill out to get your CEs. I'll send the link in the chat just here in a few seconds. And then towards the end of the presentation, I will go ahead and add in the survey for the session as well, just to give our speakers some feedback on their presentation today and any suggestions we can do for the future presentation. I'm going to go ahead and send that link, and then I will hand it over to Liz and Tracy, okay?
Awesome. Thank you, Leslie. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining our session today. We are here from the Nevada Governor's Office of Science, Innovation, and Technology. And today we want to share with you some resources and programs that we offer you might be interested in. My name is Tracy Howard. I'm the STEM Program Director at OSIT. And then I also have with me my colleague, and Liz, I'll let you say hi, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Liz Zaminsky. I'm recently new to the governor's office as of this summer. Before that, I've been down with CCSD for a couple decades as a classroom teacher, strategist, STEM curriculum strategist, coach, gate teacher, all kinds of things, but in the trenches with all of you educators as well. So I'm very happy to be joining you today, and hopefully you can get a lot of great resources from our office. Thanks.
So as I'm kind of talking through the different programs we offer, Liz will be keeping an eye on the chat. So feel free to throw any questions you have in there. We can stop and chat about those at any time. She'll also be throwing into the chat box a ton of links, which we'll share as we go through each program so that you can access those as we're talking about it. But we do want to know who all is in the room with us, and this will help us kind of tailor which programs we talk about today. So if you don't mind, I see a lot of new names and faces, which is great. If you don't mind putting your name, location, and your role or title so we get an idea of who's here, we'd love to see that in the chat. Sewing teacher.
Wow, that's great.
That's very cool. Okay, so we have some middle school, elementary, gate.
A very wide variety of
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Okay, great. Dr. Lynn. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you all. I'm so glad that you're here and we get to make a connection. I really, truly hope that this is the start of our relationship and that we get to keep talking with you all. I see a couple people in the waiting room. Leslie, I don't know if you want to kind of monitor that, or I'm happy to let people in. Okay. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay.
I've been letting people in too, but it looks like this one is rejoining a couple times.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't dropping the ball.
No, I think that's just a little bit stuck. We'll get them in.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. Well, thank you for being here. Before we jump into the programs that we offer, I do want to give you a little bit of background about our office. It might help frame kind of the purpose behind our programs. If you think back to the Great Recession and the housing market crash of 2008, Nevada was hit particularly hard during that time, right? We had a lot of our industry was in tourism, hospitality, and that was kind of the last thing people were doing at that point. So our state leaders decided we needed to diversify our economy, which we still to this day are continuing to work on. But as part of that diversification, the state started incentivizing businesses and industry to come into our state. I'm sure a lot of you remember this. Big industry leaders were getting some tax breaks to come into our state and open warehouses and bring their business here. And as part of that, those incentives, we ask those businesses to hire Nevadans, right? So then it's a twofold benefit. We're diversifying our economy, so in case of another crash, we're less likely to see the devastating effects that we saw, and we're getting Nevadans to work. So sounded like a great plan, and we brought in all this industry, gave them those tax breaks, and they didn't find enough Nevadans to hire who had the credentials that they needed and the experience that they needed. And so OSIT was born as the people strategy for that. So our job and our vision is to build a pathway to success for every Nevadan, so we can get Nevadans into those jobs, those high-paying middle skills jobs, get feet in the door and start building from there. So we're really that people plan. We work with everyone involved in building these pathways. We work with PK through 20 education, workforce development partners, community partners, government at all levels, and we're all working together towards this vision. So the resources we'll look at today are the PK-12 specific resources that hopefully you'll find interesting. But if you have questions about any of those other pieces or angles, then reach out and we're happy to talk more about that. Or I saw that Liz is adding the OSIT website to the chat, so you can go to our website and look at our different programs as well. So all of these offerings that we'll talk about today are all towards that. Let's build a pathway to get our students ready for those high-paying STEM jobs that are available out there in our state. So today we'll talk about kind of 3 buckets: learning opportunities that we offer, recognition opportunities, and also funding opportunities. This first bucket, let me stop here. Before we get into that, I want to do something with you. Bear with me. We'll throw a link in the chat. Let's just put it in there. It's to this form. And I'm going to ask that all of you take a second to open that up, put in your email address. And as we go through these programs today, if something's interesting to you, you want more info, you want to be notified when the applications come out, you can check that box at the end of our session, hit submit, and we'll be sure to get that info to you. So I'll give you a second to open that link and put in your email. Any trouble getting in there? Okay, perfect. Thanks for the feedback. Okay, cool. Let us know if you need help. All right, so this first opportunity I want to talk with you about is the STEM Leaders Academy. Has anybody heard of our academy before? Know somebody in it? Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
And don't be shy if you want to unmute yourself and talk out or put something in the chat.
Yeah. So the STEM Leaders Academy is developed with the audience in mind of teams from schools who are interested in becoming designated STEM schools. So if you are at a site where STEM is happening and you want to either enhance the STEM that's happening, or maybe you want to get started on that journey, or you're doing a lot of great STEM stuff across the school, and you want to learn more about the designation, there's lots of reasons you might participate in the academy, but we'd invite you to come and bring a team of leaders to the academy, and you'll spend a year with us learning what STEM is, what does that mean, what can it look like at your school in particular, what resources can get you to where you want to go. And then we also deep dive into the attributes of a high quality STEM school. We pull those apart. What does it mean? What exactly does that look like in my second grade classroom or my second grade social studies curriculum? What does that look like? So we spend the year together digging into all of that. And then we work with your school team to develop a strategic plan to go from wherever you are on that continuum to your vision for your STEM school. We help you build that plan to get there, build in benchmarks, connect you with resources that you'll need. And at the end of all that, we say, here's $20,000 to launch your plan. Your plan likely will have PD that's needed, or planning time that's needed, or maybe some curriculum materials. So that $20,000 is meant to help launch you and get you prepared and off to a good foot. So we are currently right in the middle of this year's STEM Leaders Academy. We do take any K-12 schools in the state can apply. We have them across the whole state. We meet in person when we can, virtually when we can't. But I do encourage you, if you're interested in becoming a STEM school, then this is a great way to get kind of your whole school involved, because your leadership team will have representatives from around the school. And so it doesn't just become like a science thing, you have everybody across the whole school doing it. So I would encourage you to look into this if you're interested. We'll also put out applications for next year's academy later in the spring. So if you are interested in that, you can go to the link that Liz shared in the chat. You can check the STEM Leaders Academy box on that survey, or feel free to unmute, ask us any questions you have.
There is one question in the chat from Jennifer. Does this work for the arts also, STEAM?
Yeah, I love that question, and I'm so glad you asked it right away. This is a great first question. So I'll be saying STEM throughout this presentation, and when you work with us, we'll say STEM. But really, when we say STEM, I don't mean science, technology, engineering, and math. I'm talking about the way that you're teaching all of your curriculum. STEM is a mindset, and it's a way that we teach our kids to prepare them for the real world. And so that when I say STEM, it does include the arts. It also includes whatever else you might want to put in there. We've seen reading, religion, law. We've seen it all. I think Streamlers was the longest one I've seen. But really, no matter the content area, it's about how you're introducing that material to kids, the context it's in, and that connection to their future careers. So if you are at a school that's really focused on the arts, we can talk more about how we can support you in that. I would say at least half of the schools in the academy are they're calling themselves STEAM schools. They're focused on the arts. So happy to help with that. Health and medicine as well. Yeah, whatever your focus is. A lot of the high schools we work with will have certain pathways that are more focused, like it might be health and medicine. So we help each individual school figure out their path for what they're offering at their school. So yeah, and we love to see the diversity too. We're not here to say this is what your school needs to look like. We're here to say these are the attributes of a high quality STEM school. Let's figure out together how we can make that work for you and your community. I have to say it's probably my favorite part of our programs. All right, let's jump to this next opportunity, the STEM Shift Book Club. It's a professional book club. It's a course offered through Southern Nevada RPDP, but it's open to the whole state. And I want to talk about this next because the STEM Shift text, you can see the cover here on your screen. That text is actually really closely aligned to what we do in the academy. So if you're kind of interested in those topics, but you're not quite sure you or your school can commit to the academy, I would recommend the STEM Shift Book Club. The book is a fairly easy read. It's not super long, but it's really thought-provoking. And it's broken up into 2 parts. The first is Why STEM, which I love. It has all kinds of, tools for your tool belt in terms of getting buy-in at your school. It's really, why is this best for kids, all kids? And then the second part is about making that STEM shift at your school. So rather than kind of just adding in STEM projects or a STEM class, how do you shift thinking at the school, the culture at the school, so that you are really a STEM school versus a school that offers STEM activities. So this STEM Shift Book Club, it's offered every year, usually in the fall. And you go through, I believe it's a 4-week course, and the book is broken up into 4 chunks. So each week you read a chunk, reflect on it. And at the end of the course, you put together like a kind of an informal plan for moving forward. Like, what did you get from this book that you can implement at your school? So this is kind of a nice like toe dip into this idea that I would suggest. And, if the book club format through the course is not for you, you can get this book on Amazon, and I would highly recommend a read. It's a great one. Let's see. So if you're interested in more information about that, check it on your survey. We can send out the invite once the course opens back up. And I should mention too, you earn 15 credits for participating. So that's a good one for your annual renewal, license renewal. Any questions about that book club? Okay. So the next opportunity I want to talk with you about, I did see we have quite a few elementary in here. One program we offer is the Engineering Fellows Program. We do focus on K-5 for this program. And the reason is, as we've been going out and visiting schools, STEM or not, we really see a lack of engineering at those schools, or really, which is the application of STEM learning, right? So we were seeing a lot of schools who were teaching STEM, but the kids weren't really applying it to anything. So we developed this Engineering Fellows Program for elementary school teachers with the intention of increasing confidence with engineering, increasing resources, curriculum that teachers have to teach engineering in their classrooms. So during this program, individual teachers can apply, become part of the cohort, and we do a couple of things that build on each other. First, we will look into the attributes of a high quality engineering lesson. How do we lead kids through that learning and problem solving piece? Then once teachers are feeling comfortable with that, we'll actually pull out lessons, common engineering lessons that we'll see, engineering.com, FOSS, Mystery Science, all of these common curriculum. We'll pull out their engineering lessons and take what we know about high quality engineering lessons and evaluate it. We'll say, okay, this is really great here, but it's missing these pieces. We actually encourage and spend some time with the teachers in this program. We have them bring their curriculum, their lessons to the program, and we sit down, evaluate it, and then we refine it. So how can we amp this up and make it even better? And teachers take it to their class and can teach it, the next day. But through a little bit of a refined lens. Teachers who are interested in continuing on then go to the next part with us, which is where we develop our own new lessons, which is kind of its own beast, right? But teachers who do that with us work with engineers from the community and with engineering students at the universities And we develop lessons together based on real world situations, based on real world phenomena, and build a lesson from there. And participants who leave with not only the lesson they created, but everyone else's lessons in the program, as well as some funding to purchase materials for those lessons. Often we'll have like a whole grade level, like all the 4th grade teachers at a school will all participate. And by the end of the program, they have a full year of engineering projects. So I would recommend doing it that way if you're interested. But this program will be running this summer in June. And so we'll open up applications here after winter break. And if you're interested in being notified for that, be sure to check it on your survey so we can email that to you. But I did go through that kind of quickly. Are there questions about this program in particular that we can answer? I see Liz is on top of the chat. Thank you. Well, feel free as questions come up, throw them into that chat. Okay. One other learning opportunity before we get to the recognition. I want to talk about this NCST STEM certificate pilot. It's a project that Liz and I are doing right now. It's not something you can sign up for right now, but I want to share it with you so that you have it on your radar because we have big plans for it. And we're really excited about this program. The STEM certificate pilot program is a K-12 program. And it came to be because OSIT has requests from schools all the time for STEM courses around pedagogy and instructional strategies. All the time we're getting that. There's not a lot of courses out there around those topics, especially here in Nevada. And there's teachers across the state that are looking for that, which is exciting. We love to hear that. So what we have done is partner with NISE, the National Institute for STEM Education. And we worked with them over several months about what they offer, what Nevada needs. And we did a crosswalk with them around their certificate program and our STEM school designation program. And we actually found that those two programs had nearly identical indicators. So we're looking for the same things that this certificate program is teaching. So it really has just fit in perfectly with what we're doing here in Nevada. And so right now we're piloting the program. Before we really officially partner, we want to make sure that this STEM certificate program is making an impact on instruction and on student learning. So right now we're piloting it with a couple of schools across the state who are going through the program. It's a virtual self-paced certificate program. I want to say there's about 16 indicators that they work on. They learn about it, they reflect on it, try it in their classrooms, and collaborate with each other and talk about, what worked, what didn't work. So what we're doing this year is evaluating their teaching at the beginning of the year, the end of the year to see growth. And what we plan to do with that, we anticipate positive results based on what we've seen so far. And what we plan to do is use that to expand this program so we can offer it across the state, pay for teachers to participate in the program, offer supports. And what we're working on now is a STEM endorsement. We really want to move that way. And so we're hoping that we can use this pilot in some way to get that going. And the data will help us convince everyone we need to convince that this is needed. So unfortunately, this isn't something you can sign up for right now, but I really anticipate this coming summer and next fall, there'll be something in the works, whether it's applying for funding so you can sign up or official cohorts that we facilitate. or the STEM endorsement, where something's coming down the pipeline and I'm really excited about it. So I want you to keep this on your radar. Again, it's for K-12 teachers. It's self-paced online program. If you're interested in the certificate now, you could always go to the NICE website and sign up for it. I've seen a lot of teachers ask admin to pay for it for them. So you could always do that as well. Or you can wait and see if the state will pay for it for you, which we're hoping. So thank you for letting me go on and on about that, but we're really excited and hope to get that out to you soon. Questions about the certificate pilot?
I'll add quickly to that. Although it's that independent, self-paced program, we have Saturday workshops to dive in a little deeper, and also sessions with our national coach to work through the indicators. And we're aligning our Nevada STEM framework along with the indicators from the National Institute for STEM Education. So although it's a self-guided, self-paced, we have the supports of this of 4 Saturday workshops throughout the school year, and then some working sessions with our national coach too. So it's not something that you're all alone. It's a collaborative effort.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, let's jump to our recognition opportunities. We have 2 that I want to talk with you all about today. The first is our governor designated STEM school program. And this program identifies schools that demonstrate those high quality attributes. Schools who are designated go through a process. They apply to be designated. They go through a site visit, and they're scored by reviewers. It's a pretty rigorous vetting process. And actually in a minute, I'll have Liz talk to you about her experience with it. But schools who are designated, they get a couple of things. They get, bragging rights. They get marketing materials. They get a big banner. They get these digital seals that they can use to say, hey, we went through this process. We have demonstrated that we offer high quality STEM learning experiences at our school. Even though this school down the street, has STEM in their title, we've proven it, right? So they have those marketing materials. And then schools who are designated also get access to the designated STEM school network. And schools in that network have opportunities to network with each other. They get exclusive access to grants that are only offered to them. We offer learning webinars to those schools. And we're continuing to build that network and offer even more to the schools who are in it. So there are some perks to being designated. But I do want to turn it over to Liz. She is from a school. She's coming to us from a school that was designated, and she took her school through that whole STEM shift, got them designated. So I'll have her talk with us about that experience and some of the benefits of being designated.
Thanks, Tracy. So it's a little blurry, but it was 4 to 5 years ago that I was at a K-5 school, and we were transitioning. We wanted to transition to become a science and technology focused elementary school. So we worked on a strategic plan, really not knowing at the beginning what that really meant to transition to become a STEM school and, focus on that science and technology. But we dug into it, and we created a strategic plan with some heavy focus on professional development. And as we worked through that plan, and we had here and there, we had to pivot, of course, and then we had COVID in there as well. We not only improved our teaching practices, but all of our by far, but all of our testing scores shot up too during this process. So in our strategic plan, we had a lot of professional development on what STEM education is, best practices, the pedagogy, professional development on problem-based learning, and everything we did during this process was, through the lens of becoming a STEM school. And as we applied for designation, we had the team come out and evaluate us, and the feedback was we did get designated, and then we also got feedback after that process, which was so powerful because it gave us our next steps to continue this growth process as a team, as a staff, as a community, to move even higher and do better for our students. So it was, and they're continuing, I'm not there anymore, but we built the system there, and they're continuing to move forward with it. And I highly recommend going through the process. It changed all of our lives at the school, which means it also changed those students' lives too. And I could go on and on about it. But if you have any specific questions, you may have not even heard about it. But I highly recommend looking, checking out that link, looking at the rubric of what that looks like, and then reach back out to us and talk to your staff, talk to your administration if you're interested in moving your school forward in this area. And Tracy and I are super passionate about this. This is in our core, so please reach out to us about anything related to that. Anyone have any questions or comments? Have you heard of this program? Have you seen some schools with their designation signs, at the front or anything like that? Brand new for everyone? No? Okay.
Pretty sure McCaw's got that designation.
McCaw does have that designation. Mm-hmm.
We had a presentation from them earlier.
Oh, good. And if you look at the website, on our website, there's a list of all the schools that have been designated in Nevada. And that's a process that happens every year. And once you're designated, you maintain that designation for 5 years. And then there's a redesignation, slightly different redesignation process as well. But it is, I'm not exaggerating when I said it's a life-changing experience. It shifted our school in ways that would have never happened had we not gone through that process. And only positivity came out of it. It was very rigorous, but it's the good work. It is the good work.
The good work. I like that. Something else I hear pretty regularly from schools who've gone through the process, if you look at the Nevada STEM framework, which is the rubric these schools are evaluated on, and we'll link that in the chat as well. If you look at that and spend some time with it, you'll see that those attributes and the NEPF indicators are so closely aligned. The things that we're looking for are just good teaching. And we talked earlier about when we look at the acronym of STEM, we're not going in and making sure that you have a science class and a technology class and an engineering and a math, but we're looking for how you're teaching. And it's those best practices across the board. And so a lot of the schools who've gone through this process have said, I'm evaluating my teachers on this now, and my teachers are setting their goals around the framework now, and their NEPF ratings are going up. Before, maybe they weren't so sure, what I was looking for or how to do this, but going through this process, they get it now, and we're just seeing some really good stuff. So I could go on and on as well. But take a look at that framework, take a look at the designation website, see if this is something you're interested in. The application for this year's designation cycle just opened up, I want to say yesterday. Very good timing. Perfect. It's linked in the chat. They're due in January, but I do recommend taking a shot, going for it. Regardless of if you're designated or not, we do offer really explicit feedback. We'll tell you exactly what we saw and where that put you in the rating and what we would need to see to rate higher. And then we'll offer some advice, some resources, connect you with other schools. And so some schools go through the application process just for that feedback piece. So take a look, see if you're interested. Let us know how we can help. We would love to see more and more schools go for that, because we know more schools are doing STEM than have been designated.
And like Tracy said on that, going for that application, that feedback was so valuable. It gave us actual very specific action steps to take next. So even if you don't feel like, oh, my whole school's not doing all this, if there's pockets even in your school, it's very valuable.
Mm-hmm. And the designation has 3 tiers, 3 levels that you can rate at: developing, established, and model. And that developing is just as it's named. It's something that you're working towards. And so if you have pockets, that's what a lot of our developing schools look like. So go for it. I encourage you. All right. If you're, I mean, we can talk about this all day, so you guys can stay on after if you want. We'll finish talking, but let me jump to this next recognition opportunity. For any of you who are working with high school students, or maybe you have a high school student at home, we worked with the Department of Ed, I want to say 2 years ago, on the STEM and STEAM seal recognition opportunity. It's for high school diplomas. Students can get this seal on their diploma and use it as a self-marketing tool to promote themselves to any post-secondary programs they're applying to, employers that they're applying to. So that's a really great kind of perk for students who are earning these seals. Sorry. So if you go to our website, you can see the requirements for each of these seals. I'll put them here. I know this is hard to see, but you can always go there and check. Basically, the requirements, there's something around your GPA. There's a requirement around how many credits you earn in different types of courses. And there's a testing requirement. So whether you're taking the AP test, IB, SAT, ACT, you just have to earn a certain score on those. And so a lot of high school students are doing this, but they don't realize that that seal is available to them. So I would encourage you to talk with your school counselor about this, because they're the ones who can get that seal onto the diploma. So talk to your school counselors, whether you work at a high school or you have high schoolers at home, because we'd love to see more and more of these out. We do have some schools where almost every student leaves with one of these. So if you have a lot of students leaving with one of these seals, that's a good marketing tool for your school as well. Are there any questions about the seals? Has anybody heard of them? Not yet? Okay. Yeah, I want to say it's been a year or two. And I will say these seals were designed, there was a competition, these were designed by students. And the STEM seal was drawn by a student at West Career and Tech. And the STEAM seal was someone at the Las Vegas Academy of Arts Performing Center. So very cool. Okay. those are the recognition opportunities that might be relevant for you. And we can talk about our last bucket, which is funding. And I know that's probably what everybody's here for. We do offer several grants. We had 6 different grant streams open up yesterday. So let's just put the link to our grants in the chat where you can see all of them. There's 4 that I want to talk with you about today that might be relevant. But again, our website will have more that you can check out that you might be eligible for. The first one I want to talk about is a K-5 STEM grant. And this is for elementary school teachers who can apply to get up to $1,500 for their classroom to get supplies for a STEM project. So maybe you have a really cool project in mind, maybe one that you've already been doing, but you need more supplies, better supplies. You can apply for that grant. I've seen schools, a whole grade level will apply, so they have enough materials for their whole grade level to do a project. But they'll each apply individually. So, you know, you have, I don't know, 4 third grade teachers who all apply for it. That's a pretty big pot of money you could potentially be awarded for those projects. And then under the K-5 STEM grant, you can also apply for up to $20,000 for the school site to implement a program, a STEM program from our list of recommended programs, which is on our website as well. Some common programs there are Project Lead the Way, DRI's green boxes are on there. There's some math programs. There's all kinds of good stuff on there, and it's building all the time. So if your school wants to implement one of those programs, we'll offer you up to $20,000 to buy the curriculum and any training that's needed for it. We've seen a lot of schools go for Project Lead the Way with that. We also, there's no restrictions between the two. So if you want to apply for the school grant and the classroom grants, you can do that. That's no problem. The next one I want to talk about is the STEM Workforce Talent Pipeline Grant. And this is for the high school teachers that are here, or any post-secondary or any industry that's here. So the STEM Workforce Talent Pipeline has a rolling application deadline, and we have $500,000 available annually for this grant. This one is a pretty unique and pretty specific grant opportunity. We are looking for applications that propose a program that gets kids in high school, keeps them, and gets them into a job. So we're looking for a high school to partner with a post-secondary to partner with an employer. And the 3 partners work together to develop a program that enrolls students while they're in high school, while they're earning their high school diploma, gets them started earning a credential or possibly an associate's degree. So the kids start in high school. After high school graduation, so that summer after, they continue on the program. This piece is really key for us because we find we lose a lot of students after high school graduation. There's a lot of life changes. Their friends are doing a lot of different things. And there's a lot of shiny things out there to distract them. So we really want a program that'll keep them in a class over the summer, working towards this credential. They finish up shortly after, and the employer partner interviews those kids to hopefully get them into a job, you know, if they've done well. During this program, will have some work-based experiences. So really the idea is that when they finish this program shortly after high school, they are, you know, ahead of the curve, they're ready to go, and we can get them into these high-paying jobs where they can then, you know, stack credentials, or maybe they want to go back to a 4-year college, whatever it might be, but they're in that STEM job. And we got them. So this grant opportunity is for stakeholders to develop and launch those programs. The next one I want to talk about is the STEM Leaders Academy grant. I think we already talked about it, but I just want to remind you that's a key one that we offer to schools. The requirement is just that you participate in the academy, and then you're eligible for that $20,000. And I want to reiterate as well, the designated STEM schools, there's a grant out right now. Any of those designated schools can apply for $25,000 for ongoing PD and planning time. So that is another perk of the designated STEM school network. Like I said, check out our website. There's some more grant opportunities on there you might be eligible for. But I want to open it to the group. Do you all have any questions about funding, or I guess any of the programs that we've talked about?
So I had a question about the K-5 STEM grant, the 1,500. You talked about multiple teachers in a school being able to do that. Is it all right if they essentially submit identical applications minus the teacher name at the top?
Yep. Yeah, we see that a lot. And we work that a lot. Yep, no problem. It's definitely a strength to see grade level teachers working together, right? The K-5 STEM grant applications are due December 19th. I don't think I said that. So they're open on our website. Go take a look, start applying. The K-5 STEM applications are our shortest, so hopefully it's not too cumbersome for you.
I'm putting the survey back in the chat in case you didn't get access to it. So if you are interested in any of these programs, please make sure you complete that, as well as the session survey from Leslie.
Thanks, Liz. Perfect. Yep, that second link Liz just put in there. We'll follow up with any additional information. We can answer any questions you have. And of course, we'll alert you as soon as something comes out if you're waiting on an application for something. Okay, so one last thing I would suggest, I'll just remind you about our website, osit.nv.gov. But we also run another website, stemhub.nv.gov. I'd encourage you to check out. It has some more information that's not on our OSIT site. It's more community facing than OSIT might be. But it also has things like a blog. It has different resources, activities, STEM programs in the area that you won't find on OSIT. The STEM Hub website is also where you can sign up for our newsletter. And the newsletter comes out every month. And it has all of our updates. So I would encourage you to sign up for that newsletter as well. Or, put in your survey that you're filling out that you're interested, we can sign you up for that too. So kind of my call to action is just to take a look at our resources, see if anything's interesting to you, tell a friend, and definitely reach out to us with any questions, big or small, or any ideas that you have. We can chat through what we might have to serve you. But we super appreciate you all being here today. We'll stick around and answer any questions that you have, talk through any ideas you have. But I want to thank you all for taking your Saturday and for what you're doing for your students every day. It's a job. It's a hard one. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
I have a quick question. So
Yes.
if I was interested in looking at getting like a classroom set of robotic stuff, which would be more than a 1,500, is it possible to combine two teachers? How would I go about doing that if I was able to, with another teacher on the grade level?
I have a couple of suggestions for you. Our list of recommended STEM programs, I'm pulling it up right now, it's our STEM list, has FIRST Robotics on it. So you can apply for the 20,000 for FIRST Robotics. Let me see, is that the only robotics we have on there? Oh, it might
I
be.
saw something with, was it the Kipper? with their
KinderLab.
bots?
We have KinderLab robotics on there as well.
Yeah, and I'm not familiar with either of those.
Well, either of those, you can take a look on our website. There's links to their actual website so you can learn more about them. And you might know about KinderLab as Kibo. I don't know if that sounds familiar to you, the Kibo robots. But if you're interested in a robotics program that's not on that list, you can try to kind of piecemeal together the $1,500 grants. Or if you go to our grants site, we have regional network grants, which is where a lot of our schools apply for the robotics programs, because that pot is up to 50,000 and there's like very few limitations around it. Those grants are really just meant to expand access to high quality STEM. What, Larry, can you remind me where you're located?
I'm in Las Vegas, in Clark.
Okay, so that would be the Southern Network Grant, which each of those network grants open up annually. So that might be a route that you take. Something else I'll mention, and take this with a grain of salt because I'm not really sure where they're at right now, but the state did just invest a couple $1 million into robotics. They want to get it into as many schools as possible. I believe they're using FIRST, but they'll pay for all the materials, they'll pay the teacher training, they'll pay the registration fees. And so if you're interested in that, we can get you some contact info.
I put a link just now in the chat for FIRST Robotics. If you're starting a new team, there's funding for that.
Okay, perfect.
Definitely check that out. I've used that before, and it's a pretty easy process, and they got our robotics team started.
One final suggestion would be if you're interested in VEX robotics. I know DRI does some teacher trainings around VEX, and they'll offer the materials as well. So I can connect you with them if you would like. Good questions.
Hey, I have a question. I went to a conference a couple weeks ago and there were some club invention people there. And I was wondering if there's a way to get like a grant for that for our 21st century program.
Camp Invention is on our list of recommended programs. So you can apply for up to 20,000 to implement them at your school.
Do you know how much they are?
I want to say the schools who've applied have gotten just about to that 20,000 to implement a camp at their school.
Okay, great. You have to be a professional to apply for these grants. So I need to find somebody I've never done this before.
Good question. The K-5 ones are, like I said, our shortest ones. It's who are you, who's your school, you know, what are you going to do with these materials? Any of our grants, if you would like help, that's what we're here for. I mean, we want this funding to go out. We want materials in hands of kids. So let us know. We can give you feedback on your application. We can direct you to any resources. You know, we're happy to help.
I was in your shoes as well in the classroom, and as a strategist in applied form, you can do it, but we're here to help. Definitely.
It can be a lot.
Great. I'll get right on it. I'm excited about it. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm gonna, I hope AJ's okay with this. I'm positive she is, but
I love it.
She'll love it. If you're interested in the VEX DRI robotics information, get in touch with AJ Long at DRI. She's amazing. I think they're doing a lot of work this year out in the rural areas, but she works with everybody across the state. And Lindsay, anyone else, our emails are on the screen. we are more than happy to answer any questions you have. Reach out anytime. We also will come out to your schools and just chat with you, see what's going on over there. Very, low risk. We just are happy to come out and meet you. And sometimes people will invite us out for informal feedback. We are happy to do that. Maybe talk with your admin to convince them of this path. We're happy to do that. Liz is down south, I'm up north, so we can make it happen no matter where you're at.
Does anyone have any further questions for either Tracy or Liz for today? If not, then everything was still available in that chat. There will be other coinciding documentation that will be available for you as well. If you could just please, again, fill out that survey link. I had sent a little bit previously just to give them some feedback, and everybody is all free to go. And this will conclude the presentation for today.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your weekend.